Blake Lively has just been exposed in a shocking Hollywood scandal, and trust me, this changes everything. Justin Baldoni's legal team has just dropped some explosive evidence, and the fallout is about to be massive. We're talking major legal trouble, career-ending allegations, and the kind of receipts that could send shockwaves through the entire entertainment industry. Stay locked in, because this is about to get crazy. According to insider sources, the new evidence includes emails, text messages, and audio recordings that directly implicate Blake Lively in a series of controversial actions.
On the cusp of the first official court hearing, Justin Baldoni's team has released new material, including apparent text messages from actor Ryan Reynolds. And the argument is, does it put this whole story in a new context? You see, while Baldoni is accused of harassing Reynolds' wife, Blake Lively, he claims he was bullied and was ostracized with false allegations. So we're going to go through some of what was just posted on a new website launched by Baldoni's team. We knew this was coming. We knew this was going to happen. The timing of it is a different question. The timing of this is something else, because we knew from Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, that they were planning on launching a website that would list more text messages and purported evidence in this ongoing legal feud between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. And this is, of course, after Lively filed her lawsuit against Baldoni and his production company and others, including a PR specialist and crisis management expert. Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, said that they would release every single text message between Baldoni and Lively, and that they would launch a website including all of the correspondence. And it appears they did just that. On Saturday, February 1st, a website was launched, www.thelawsuitinfo.com, and it contains two giant PDF files. So one is an amended complaint in this case from Baldoni. It is 224 pages, longer than the original 179-page complaint. It is now a consolidated action, meaning that Baldoni's lawsuit against Lively and Ryan Reynolds in the New York Times and her suit against him will all be joined together as one. This was approved by the court.
The evidence, which was presented in court earlier today, reportedly reveals shocking details about Blake's behavior and the extent of her alleged involvement in the scandal. As the evidence was presented, Blake was seen visibly shaken, and moments later, the courtroom erupted in gasps. The judge was forced to call a recess to restore order, but the damage may already be done. For weeks, rumors have been swirling about a major Hollywood scandal brewing in the shadows, and now we finally have the full picture.
However, these files provide a lot more purported material in this story that we need to go through. And to be clear, there are things in this timeline that are more specific or not laid out per se in the amended complaint, but they could very well be used at an upcoming trial if this goes to trial. It's currently scheduled for March 2026. Now, before we get to all of this, I gotta give you a little bit of a quick context and backstory to set up what we're talking about here. So Blake Lively sued Justin Baldoni, her former co-star and director of the movie It Ends With Us. This was first in the form of a CRD, a Civil Rights Department complaint, before it matured into an actual federal lawsuit. She claims that Baldoni and others engaged in misconduct on set, including harassment, whether that be allegedly improvising intimate scenes, allegedly fat-shaming her, allegedly inappropriately discussing pornography, allegedly violating protocols in place for scenes, and there's a lot more. And then she claims when she voiced these concerns, she alleges that Baldoni and his team devised a smear campaign against her, using the press and digital manipulation to turn public sentiment against her, both online and in the media.
Justin Baldoni's legal team has released new evidence that could completely shift the narrative. And we're not talking about baseless accusations or gossip. This is real, documented proof that could put careers on the line. So what exactly did they uncover? And why is Blake Lively suddenly at the center of all this chaos? Social media has exploded with reactions to the news, with hashtags like #BlakeLivelyExposed and Hollywood Scandal trending worldwide.
Baldoni countersued, claiming that all this are false allegations, and these were false allegations, according to him, that were weaponized by Lively, as well as her husband Ryan Reynolds, to take control over the film from him. That he is the victim of being bullied by Lively and Reynolds, including on one occasion where he claims he felt pressured to accept Lively's rewrites of a key scene because Reynolds and mega superstar Taylor Swift praised Lively's work in front of him. He also claims that Reynolds tried to get his talent agency to drop him. I want you to keep that one in mind. We're going to revisit that one a little bit later. But Baldoni has also sued the New York Times too, because he alleges that they illegally coordinated or colluded with Lively to release a bombshell article the day after she filed her initial complaint. And it was entitled, "We Can Bury Anyone Inside a Hollywood Smear Machine." And he says this was filled with sloppy reporting, it was one-sided, it was filled with false allegations.
Fans of Blake are expressing shock and disbelief, while critics are calling the evidence a smoking gun that could finally bring the truth to light. The revelations have reignited debates about Blake's innocence or guilt, with many questioning how this new evidence will impact her career and public image. Let's rewind. Blake Lively has spent years building her image as America's sweetheart. She's been seen as a Hollywood darling, the perfect A-list actress with the perfect marriage and the perfect career.
So at a time when Lively and Reynolds filed papers with the court saying that Friedman is stepping over the line, that he may be violating the rules of professional conduct regarding out-of-court statements that may materially prejudice a case, namely improperly tainting a future jury pool, his team, Baldoni and his team, launched this website 2 days before the hearing. I mean, you could argue that they did this to get all of that out there for the public to see before, let's say, the judge imposes a protective order preventing the parties from further publicly commenting on the case. It's all out there now. And remember, this fight between these two stars is just as important in the public as it is in the courtroom. Each has tried to reverse the bad press, the allegations that they face, to win back public opinion. Lively has been categorized as mean and tone-deaf when it comes to the promotion of a film regarding domestic violence, whereas he, Justin Baldoni, has been categorized as someone harassing a major celebrity during a film about a man abusing a woman.
But behind the scenes, things might not be as picture-perfect as they seem. New information suggests that she may have been involved in a scandal that goes way deeper than anyone could have imagined. And here's where it gets wild. Baldoni's legal team has allegedly uncovered documents, emails, and even private messages that tell a very different story. Reports are claiming that these files could expose a secret Hollywood operation involving some of the biggest names in the industry.
Justin Baldoni is making his legal battle against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds more public. The It Ends With Us director has launched a website that includes an amended $400 million complaint he filed January 31st against the couple, in place of his January 16th extortion and defamation countersuit to the actress's harassment and retaliation filing against him. Justin also shared a filed document containing alleged screenshots of texts exchanged between him and Blake, his co-star, as well as Ryan. According to the filing, the two exchanged texts in February 2023, about 2 months before filming It Ends With Us began, with the two expressing mutual respect and Ryan expressing appreciation on behalf of himself and his wife that Justin had made the production schedule work for her. One text attributed to Ryan reads, quote, "All this to say, I'd have your line producer's face tattooed to my perineum if he, she, they could figure out how to start 2 weeks earlier."
And Blake Lively? She's right in the middle of it. Let's take a closer look at how this story unfolded. Justin Baldoni, known for his roles in hit TV shows and films, filed a lawsuit earlier this year following a series of allegations that have rocked Hollywood. The case has been one of the most closely watched legal battles in recent memory, with both sides presenting compelling arguments. Blake Lively has consistently denied the allegations, calling them false and defamatory, but the new evidence presented by Justin's legal team has cast serious doubt on her claims.
Now, The Hollywood Reporter just dropped a wildly controversial cover that's only making things worse. The cover story featured an illustration of Blake Lively launching a slingshot at Justin Baldoni. They tweeted, "Blake Lively vs. Justin Baldoni, an exclusive look behind the battle lines of the It Ends With Us uncivil war." And it's been reported that Blake was not happy about this article coming out. According to Page 6, The Hollywood Reporter should be ashamed of itself, a spokesperson for the It Ends With Us star 37 told the Daily Mail on Friday. "The framing in this picture is outrageously insulting as it plays into every trope about women who dare file a workplace complaint, turning them into the aggressor and suggesting they deserve the retaliation that comes their way. In the Hollywood Reporter article, there's a lot of drama surrounding Justin Baldoni. The article dives into a rumor that Justin and Colleen Hoover, the book's author, were both part of the Baha'i religion, and that's how he got the rights to turn the book into a movie.
So what's actually in these documents? Sources claim that the emails reveal a pattern of secret dealings, cover-ups, and manipulation that could ruin reputations in an instant. And let's be real, Hollywood has always been a place where power is everything. If these files truly expose what people are saying they do, then we're looking at a full-blown industry shakeup. And if that wasn't enough, there are even reports that audio recordings exist. Recordings that could prove conversations took place behind closed doors that were never meant to see the light of day.
The article states, over the past several weeks, The Hollywood Reporter has interviewed multiple friends and former colleagues of Baldoni, along with members of the Baha'i community, to piece together if and how this religion might have inadvertently contributed to the situation. Baldoni, whose Irish Catholic father and Ashkenazi mother both converted to the religion before he was born in California and raised in Oregon, has made no secret about his devotion to the Baha'i faith, which is based on notions of humanity, universalism, and gender equality. What's also clear from talking to people in his orbit is that Baldoni has his own unique way of communicating and behaving, much of it informed by the tenor of his religion. His unique mannerisms have at times come into conflict with Hollywood's current ethos, which, in the wake of the Me Too and Black Lives Matter movements and the COVID pandemic, has become far more rigid, uniform, and police. They added, when analyzed through the prism of a 180-year-old faith that has a strong mystical component to it.
If these recordings are made public, it could mean the end of some of Hollywood's most untouchable figures. And let's not forget, Blake Lively has always been seen as someone who stays out of controversy. If these tapes prove otherwise, her carefully curated image could come crashing down in an instant. The evidence, which was reportedly obtained through a combination of legal discovery and private investigations, includes emails and text messages that appear to show Blake discussing controversial activities with associates.
The new Hollywood Reporter article that stated, it wasn't just Baldoni who ran into issues when interacting with cast members. The Hollywood Reporter has learned more about the nature of the complaint that It Ends With Us actress Jenny Slate lodged, which is referenced in court documents but with Slate's name redacted. It stemmed from an interaction with Heath about the apartment Slate had rented in New York City where It Ends With Us was shooting. Slate, who has a toddler, told him she wasn't thrilled with the space she had rented, but that moving wasn't an option because she didn't want to lose the sizable security deposit around $15,000. Heath informed Slate that Wayfarer would reimburse her for the lost security deposit so she could find better accommodations, but apparently he made the offer using language that made Slate uncomfortable. Sources say he focused intensely on the sanctity of motherhood and Slate's role as a mother. According to sources, Sony became aware of Slate's concerns and informed Wayfarer about them. A spokesperson for Slate did not return multiple requests for comment.
Audio recordings also reveal conversations that allegedly support Justin's claims of misconduct. Legal experts are calling the evidence a game changer, suggesting that it could lead to a significant shift in the case if admitted in court. The judge overseeing the case has yet to rule on the admissibility of the evidence, but the damage to Blake's public image may already be irreversible. But here's the real question. Why is Justin Baldoni's legal team the one dropping this bombshell?
Blake Lively is enlisting some extra help for her ongoing lawsuit. Attorneys for the actress are revealing that they've hired former CIA Deputy Chief of Staff Nick Shapiro to be a consultant on Blake's court battle against her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni. With a member of her legal team telling Variety February 28th, the litigation team for Ms. Lively retained Mr. Shapiro to advise on the legal communication strategy for the ongoing harassment and retaliation lawsuit occurring in the Southern District of New York. According to his LinkedIn, Shapiro worked at the CIA from March 2013 to May 2025 under President Barack Obama's administration, during which time he also served as a senior advisor to then CIA Director John Brennan. After working for the government, the Tulane University alum then founded his own crisis management consulting firm in 2019.
Well, Some sources believe that Baldoni may have been dragged into something behind the scenes. And now, his team is fighting back. Some even speculate that this could be retaliation for something much bigger that has been kept under wraps. Whatever the case, Baldoni's lawyers are not playing around, and they're coming with receipts. Friends and associates of Blake have been quick to defend her, calling the evidence fabricated and taken out of context. They insist that Blake is the victim of a smear campaign designed to tarnish her reputation and legacy.
So, listen, the bigger picture here is this. If this case is both of these cases are gonna continue, and the earliest trial date we have at this point is about a year from now.
Oh, no.
And if there's no settlement and they're going to continue filing all these documents and playing this out in the public eye, you're gonna get some ridiculous fan theories.
Right.
This might be one of them, but they are going to keep coming because
There's like only so much you can talk about and only so much to analyze.
and people want answers that they're not going to get until the case goes to court, until the trial actually starts, and nobody wants to wait for that. But again, I don't know that we're going to get to that trial date.
No.
Yeah,
What-
and also this is the most divisive thing we've seen in a long time. You're either Team Justin or you're Team Blake. It's like the new Team Jacob, Team Edward
depending
situation.
depending on what week it is.
But neither is doing better. Neither has come out of this better.
However, others close to the case suggest that the evidence is credible and could have a significant impact on the outcome. The emotional toll on Blake was evident as she sat in court, visibly shaken by the revelations. One witness described her as pale and trembling, a far cry from the confident and charismatic figure the world is used to seeing. Now, let's talk about the fallout. If this evidence holds up in court, we could see multiple Hollywood elites facing serious consequences. And let's not forget, we've seen what happens when big names get exposed in scandals like this.
Of this court case, could it lead to Blake Lively deciding to settle? Or will she find something within the scope of the subpoenas that gives her new ammunition? We are live breaking this on a Friday. Giddy the hell up. Let's get into it. I have not read this. This was sent to me by my good pal Lauren and also Marilyn. Both people sent it to me. I'm getting documents sent left and right. Here it is, folks. Reading it for the first time. It's only 6 pages. Here it is. We have plaintiff Blake Lively versus Wayfarer. Then we have plaintiff Wayfarer against Blake Lively. Now, I asked my new favorite lawyer friends, asked 2 lawyers, Donaldson, what they think of this court case and why one is plaintiff versus the other, and they said it's basically who fired the first shots, who took this to court first, and we have kind of both sides trying to subpoena each other. Blake Lively's side has asked for subpoenas that Justin Baldoni's side are saying are way too extensive. Then Blake Lively said in one of the footnotes, basically
Careers get ruined, contracts get dropped, and entire legacies get erased. The real question is, will Blake Lively be able to survive this storm? This isn't just a story about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. It's about the broader issues of power and accountability in Hollywood. The explosive evidence has sparked important conversations about how celebrities are held accountable for their actions and whether the legal system is equipped to uncover the truth.
And then we get to February 28th, 2023. So Baldoni sends a long text message to actor Ryan Reynolds, again, Lively's husband. He is an A-list star. And it says in part, quote, "Hey Ryan, Justin Baldoni here, the guy who brought his," and I think it says internal baggage, "to his meeting with your wife. I asked Blake for your number well over a month ago and have wanted to text you for a while now, but he says his nerves got the best of him." And he goes on to say how he and his wife Emily have a small circle and they hang out with each other, and he doesn't really have any close female friends, let alone married ones. So he writes Reynolds, "And so I guess this is just an awkward text to say I'd like to be friends. I'm happy there's no check yes or no box." And now he indicates that Lively wrote a similar message to his wife Emily, and he says that made him respect her and her union with Ryan Reynolds even more. He writes Reynolds, "I've been a supporter and admirer from afar of both of yours for years. You are in a class of your own."
Some are calling for reforms to ensure that all evidence is thoroughly reviewed, while others argue that Blake's situation is a consequence of her alleged actions. Because, make no mistake, the public is watching. Social media is already buzzing, and as more information comes out, this story is only going to get bigger. Some fans are in shock, refusing to believe that Blake Lively could be involved in something like this. Others? They're saying that Hollywood has always had its secrets, and it was only a matter of time before the truth came out.
Before I move on to the rest of the message, one argument could be this was all well-intentioned, right? Ryan Reynolds speaking lovingly of his wife, hyping her up, trying to do the right thing, that it was Baldoni who broke their trust in the end by harassing Blake Lively. The argument could be that this is already Reynolds allegedly putting the pressure on Baldoni to accept Lively's direction and suggestions. Just something to keep in mind. All right, let's move on. So Reynolds continues, and thank you for understanding what it means to me personally to have my family reunited as soon as possible. Nothing means more to her either, I can promise you. We're hardwired for keeping our family together. It's how to win us, and also how to kill us when we can't. We never split up, ever. It was a huge thing for us on this film. I tried to push our start date, but Marvel booked studios last July. This is in regards to his film, Marvel Studios' Deadpool and Wolverine, which released last summer.
And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. What does this mean for Blake's marriage to Ryan Reynolds? The two have been seen as one of Hollywood's most beloved couples, but if these allegations turn out to be true, could this put a strain on their relationship? We've seen Hollywood power couples fall apart over scandals before, and this one could be devastating. As the case continues to unfold, one question looms large. What's next for Blake Lively?
These messages were way before all the alleged drama, right? It's not like this came out in the middle of the conflict or the production, so it's not like they're saying, oh, there were all these problems, but look what Ryan Reynolds is texting Justin Baldoni. No. This was before all of this. So why is it relevant to the conversation? Because you could make the argument, it's more like, look how all of this started. Look how Baldoni was behaving. Look how much they adored Justin Baldoni, or seemingly adored him. Do you believe that what they're saying about him, do you believe that given all this, that Baldoni is the kind of person who just all of a sudden sexually harassed Blake Lively on set and invaded her personal space and devised a devious smear campaign against her? Now, I will say, he's the director and the co-star. If this was a repeated pattern of inappropriate comments, even if he felt that Lively was being personal and that he had the best intentions.
Will the explosive evidence lead to a significant shift in the case? Or will her legal team find a way to discredit it? And how will this scandal impact her career and public image? For now, all eyes are on the courtroom as the world waits to see how this story will unfold. But here's the thing. Blake Lively is not going down without a fight. Reports are saying that her legal team is already working overtime to shut this down. They're reportedly trying to block evidence, silence sources, and do damage control before things spiral out of control.
The workplace rules and regulations regarding hostile work environments, they apply. And let's not forget what Lively alleges in her complaint. Despite how this relationship seemed to start between Reynolds and Baldoni, she claimed it devolved into Baldoni trying to turn the public against Ryan Reynolds. So as good as this looked, maybe she can make the argument, is Baldoni really who he claims to be? Because what did her complaint say? Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Sarowitz, along with Mr. Heath, so Steve Sarowitz has been described as a co-founder, co-chairman, and financier of Baldoni's production company Wayfair. Heath is the company's CEO. She alleges that all three, quote, not only encouraged efforts to target Miss Lively and her family, but they went as far as to provide input and ideas on ways to negatively influence the narrative against Miss Lively and her family. And one of the ways that she tries to prove that is by presenting a text message exchange from Baldoni.
But will it work? Or is this already too big to contain? Because let's be honest, Hollywood is known for covering up its biggest secrets. But in today's world, social media, independent journalists, and legal leaks make it nearly impossible to keep things buried for long. If this scandal keeps unfolding, Blake Lively could be facing the biggest battle of her career. So, what's next? Will Baldoni's legal team release even more shocking evidence?
The allegation being that here, Baldoni tried to manipulate this to look like Ryan Reynolds was anti-feminist. Again, tracking that back to the messages he had with Ryan Reynolds at the beginning, very, very different. Now remember, Baldoni would argue that he was only trying to do damage control here, that he didn't want to really go after Ryan Reynolds or Blake Lively, but he's on the defensive posture. They came out against him, that he was being falsely accused of engaging in misconduct on set. That's why he hired these PR and crisis management professionals and was trying to engage in a defensive media campaign. Now, Lively insists that this was him proactively going after her and her family and turning the press and community against her and her family because she came forward with her allegations against him. So again, two competing narratives. But talking Ryan Reynolds, though, and talking Deadpool and Wolverine, by the way, there was some commentary out there that a specific character in that movie...
Will Blake Lively's team find a way to make this all disappear? One thing is for sure. This is far from over. And if you thought this was just another Hollywood rumor, think again. The evidence is real, the stakes are high, and the fallout could be bigger than anyone ever expected. What do you think? Is this the beginning of the end for Blake Lively? Or is there more to the story that we haven't seen yet? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more updates as this story continues to develop. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.